And just like that, we are 15 days away. Boy, isn't that something? Good morning to each and every one of you. It's so good to have you guys joining me this morning. I want you to know that I'm committed to helping you grow and learn and become. Check out our series. We've been talking about look for the lesson. Did you get the lesson? Did you get the lesson? That's the question at hand. All of us should be looking for the lesson. The lesson. Did we get it? Did we get it? Did you get it? Well, if you haven't gotten it, then here's the deal. I want to challenge you to make a commitment to get it. Okay? You are responsible for getting the lesson. Hello? Did y'all get that this morning? You are responsible for getting the lesson. Now, if you haven't been learning the lesson, whose responsibility is that? It's now your responsibility to level up and says, I have to get the lesson. I have to get the lesson. Now, this week I've been looking at the whole concept of past, present, and future regarding lessons that should have been gotten to ensure that your present is better and your future is amazing. Okay, so when you look back at your past, you would have realized there's some things that happened that should not have happened. Do you agree with me? Yeah, there are some things that happened that should not have happened. And I want to challenge you. You've got to go deep within and you've got to be willing to get the lesson. Oh, man. Whew. The value is in the lesson. If you can get the lesson, out of what you went through, you will be better for it. You will be better for it. This morning, I want to talk on the subject lesson learned from being wrong. Have you ever been wrong? Have anybody's ever done you wrong? I need to go back there because really, most of the times when we look back at our past, don't miss tomorrow because I'm going to talk about another angle of how we need to look at the lessons, Jamal. And so I want you to capture this. Some of us have been done wrong repeatedly. Some of us have done, anybody with me? Some of us have been wrong repeatedly. And a lot of those wrongs, it messed us up, man. It messed us up. Sometimes you could have been wrong by your parents. Sometimes you could have been wrong by your teachers. Sometimes you could have been wrong by those spiritual leaders who were placed there to help develop you and help you to grow stronger in your faith. Sometimes, John Wells, you could have found yourself having been done wrong on a job. Some people have been wrong in relationships. You've been in a relationship and you've been wrong, man. And let me tell you something. Somebody said, "Well, he who feels it knows it." Anybody ever heard something like that? You've ever heard something like that, Jamal? He who feels it knows it. In other words, yeah, hey, man. And then how many of you have heard people say, "Man, you can't tell me. You don't know what I'm going through. You ain't never been where I've been. You don't understand the pain." I may not, but there are some principles. Write this down. Principles are laws that governs humanity. I need someone to write that down. Principles are laws that governs humanity. They don't go anywhere. Okay? And principles are not biased. People are biased. Principles are not biased. Principles are laws that governs humanity. So what I'm going to share with you in regards to having been done wrong, I'm going to provide with you some principles. These aren't my feelings. These are facts. Okay? If you've been done wrong, you've got to now learn how to do these practical things that I'm about to share with you. That's going to be a game changer for you. All right. Number one, guys, first and foremost, you got to remember this. Being wrong can be a very painful experience. I know. I've been done wrong. I've been done wrong repeatedly. And guess what? I'm young enough and ambitious enough to know that there are some people, there are some people who are still going to do me wrong along the way. Now, here's the deal. I don't want to be done wrong more than I've been done right. Let me say it again. I don't want to be done wrong more than I've been done right. Now, Jocelyn, along the way, someone is going to do you wrong. But the deal is, here's what you want to get out of life lesson. You don't want to have been done wrong so much that you have more wrong that has been done to you than right that has been done to you. And if you find yourself at that place where there's been more wrong done to you than right has been done to you, I am so sorry. I feel for you, because that has to be hard. But two things I want you to capture from that. One, perspective. If it's hard to believe that more wrong has been done to a person than right, because boy, it's amazing how life is. God is just such an amazing God that a lot of times that could be how you see it, but that may not be true, because you have magnified your wrongs and has dismissed the rights. There are a lot of right, there are a lot of good that happens to us that we don't acknowledge. There are a lot of good. And because we magnify the wrong, sometimes we say, everything in my life has gone wrong. If you don't understand everything in my life, boy, wow, what a statement. Everything? Everything? Well, I'll pray for you. I pray that turn around and not everything goes wrong for you. Because hold on, no, you listening to Ricardo Miller right now, that ain't wrong. That's a good thing. Come on. Come on, everything, you still got a roof over your head. That's a good thing. They didn't take the roof over. Your car's still outside. You could have gotten had your car taken away from you. You see? I mean, it's just so much, your kids still talk to you. Well, I understand two of my kids don't talk to me. Well, one of your kids still talk to you. How about that? All right, or you end up having two kids who are better than you than your natural kids. You could end up having some kids who you didn't birth, who will end up being just like that of kids. I got brothers who are just as close to me as my biological brother. I mean, it acts like that. But I know that being wrong can be painfully a result that we walk through. But I want to talk to you about what you should do about that. Number one, moving forward, this is a principle. How many of you remember this? Principles are laws that governs humanity. Thank you, John Wells, for writing that down. Principles are laws that governs humanity. So first one, I want you to remember this. Number one, trust with caution. Trust with caution. Trust should be earned, not freely given. Did you hear that, Jamal? Trust should be earned, but not freely given. Well, I trust everybody. Well, that's not smart. You can't trust everybody. You just can't trust everybody. People who loosely talk like, I just trust everybody. You can't trust everybody. Recognize the importance of discernment in building relationships. Here's the deal. Not everybody's good for you. I mean, not everybody's good for you, but there are some people that are good for you. See, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't go extreme on one side or the other. I don't deal with people. No. Trust with caution. That's number one. Write that down. You need that. I got to learn to trust with caution. Don't just be so open. I tell some of my colleagues that don't be gullible. Okay? Don't be gullible. So recognize the importance of discernment in relationship. Somebody is good for you. Somebody is not good for you. There are some people you need to be with because you get better when you're with them. Then there are some people you need to stay away from because you're not better when you're with them. Then number two, boundaries matters. Boundaries. You want to live life effectively. You want to establish healthy boundaries. Anything doesn't go, Vito. Anything doesn't go. Anything doesn't go when you show up. Anything doesn't go when it comes to how people deal with you. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. You can't just treat me any kind of way. You can't just deal with me any kind of way. Okay? Learn to establish clear boundaries to protect yourself from future harm. But if you don't set those boundaries, okay? If you don't set those boundaries, people are going to push you beyond where they should push you. And some of us, people should know. He should know better. She should know better. Well, you should know better to have had boundaries to ensure that violation did not occur beyond the control of somebody who have no boundaries or who don't know how to respect a person who haven't made clear their boundaries. But it is our responsibility to establish boundaries. Okay, we have to be willing to set up boundaries and make it clear. Well, your standards are too high. Boundaries are oftentimes viewed as standards. Okay? Boundaries are often viewed as standard. Learn to establish clear boundaries to protect yourself from future harm. Somebody said, that always happened to me. People always treat me that way. Why? Come in my car and treat my car any kind of way. Come in my house and treat my house any kind of way. Come around my children, treat my children any kind of way. Just talk to me any kind of way. Oh my goodness. Wow. You need to stick around. You need to read my book. Okay. Number three, forgiveness is liberating. This is a principle. Forgiveness is liberating. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It is for your peace of mind. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It is for your peace of mind. So number one, you want to trust with caution. Number two, you want to establish boundaries. Number three, you want to embrace the fact that forgiveness is liberating. Embrace forgiveness as a tool for personal growth and healing. Somebody said to me not so long ago, Jocelyn, I want to be better. And I said, here's the deal. Personal growth and healing needs to become your mission. Personal growth and healing needs to become your mission. And that's going to make you have to forgive. You're going to have to let it go. Coach Miller, it's hard. I didn't say it would be easy. I didn't say it would be easy. Do you know how many people are walking around with unforgiveness? Write this down. Unforgiveness will make you sick. Literally. Let me say that again. Unforgiveness will make you sick. Somebody said, I'm having a difficult time to forgive. Get help. Get help. Someone is assigned to help you. You don't have to hold on to what you've experienced to the point of where it's messing with you, man. You're better than that. And you can learn to let it go. Okay? You can learn to let it go. So if you haven't learned that up to this point, please know that it is possible. And that's the beautiful thing. Oh, Miller, I'm not good with that. I have not mastered that yet. I didn't say you need to master it right now. I say you need to work at it. You need to work at it. Where you find yourself struggling with unforgiveness, you need to put that as one of your top priorities. If you are a believer, you are commanded, you are instructed, you are challenged as a Christian to forgive those who are trespass against you. You've been challenged and asked to forgive those who have done you wrong. How many times? 70 times 7, or even more. Just somebody said, but I don't want to be treated like a doormat. You should not. That's the reason why you set boundaries moving forward. That's the reason why you trust with caution. That's the reason why you learn the lesson. You learn the lesson. Once you learn the lesson, you start to identify red flags. You start to identify what was the mistake I made the last time to cause me be hurt so bad. And then there are some hurts we had no control over. You had no control over. In other words, you were a child and you were done wrong. You know what I'm saying? You were cornered. You were cornered and it was wrong. But what you have is, here's the deal. Pastor Brother Claire may be on this morning, and he taught me this more than 28 years ago. Somebody needs to write this down. It's in my book. Go back and get the book, okay? I'll pull out the book. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond to it. Let me say it again. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond to it. So, yes, you were done wrong. Yes, it was not your fault. Yes, you're hurting. And yes, it's hard to let go of what had been done to you by someone else. But I'm telling you, it's now your response. It's not what happened to you, it's how you're going to respond to it. And what you have to do is you have to not allow unforgiveness to imprison you, to allow you to carry this weight that keeps you from having an amazing life. Last two, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Number three, self reflection is key. When we talk about learning the lesson from having been done wrong, self-reflection is key. Miss Johnson, you'll be amazed the amount of people who don't take the time to self-reflect. And one of the reasons why we don't do well with self-reflection is because we live in such a busy world. There's so much going on. We sign ourselves up for everything, and then when we don't have anything to do, we get overtaken by bench watching television, and we're always on our device on social media. And so the whole concept of self-reflection has been kicked out the window. Most people are not examining themselves in regards to how am I doing, how have I done, or what have I done with the time that has been given to me. Okay, in every adversity lies a seed of an equal or greater opportunity. What a profound statement. Let me say it again. In every adversity lies the seed of an equal or greater opportunity. Use setback as an opportunity for self-reflection and growth. You start looking at where you came from and the mess you've experienced, and you start in small baby steps on discovering the principles for growth. And then here's what you have to do. You don't need to start with self-reflection and then stopping, start and then stopping, start and stop. Please don't do that. I've seen in my more than a decade now in coaching people, I've seen that that's one of the biggest reasons some people never get fully delivered. If you want to be fully delivered, when you discover the principles that are true, don't let those principles go. Come on, man. Somebody ought to give me some hearts for that one. Let me say it again. When you discover the principles that are true, you have to keep those principles. When you discover the principles that are true, you have to keep those principles. Because here's what the scripture says: the truth will set you free. But you have to embrace the truth every day, and the truth of what you should do. Be diligent in business and applying the principles that you learn, that you hold on to, even when it doesn't feel good. You keep chucking at it. It doesn't feel good to be in certain rooms with certain people that you can't stand because of what they had done and dealt with you wrong with. But you say, I've let it go. I've got to learn how to be in the same building. I've got to learn how to be in the same city. I got to learn how to own my day. I'm going to get past this feeling, and I'm going to get to a point where, after I've self-reflected and look at what gets on my nerve, what causes me to want to get angry. Last but not least, number 5, surround yourself with positivity. Surround yourself with positivity. When we're talking about this whole concept of having learned from being done wrong, let me tell you something. One of the worst things you can do is be around people who are negative. Oh man, people who feed your disgust. People who are constantly unearthing the pain, the anguish, and the wrong that was done to you, to the point where now you're more angry. You every time you get around them, you're not better, you're worse. Surround yourself with positivity. Your vibes attract your tribes. Let me say it again. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So what you want to do is you want to realize, listen, man, the people around me, they're not negative Debbie Downers. As a matter of fact, people who are negative, they don't like sticking around me. John Wells, People who are negative, people who are Debbie Downers, people who are just, they're all out for identifying what's wrong, they don't roll with me long. Because I don't have a lot of side story to tell. As a matter of fact, I ain't got no side story to tell. What I say that is sad often comes out to being a testimony, or almost comes out to being a victory report, as just look what the Lord has done. So surround yourself with positive and uplifting individuals who encourage you and challenge you to be your best self. I don't want to hang around her because she keeps telling me I have to let it go. That's true. You have to let it go. Okay? Remember, every wrong can be a lesson in disguise, sharpening you to a greater and wiser individual. Now, the question is, are you ready to become a sharper, a greater, and a more wiser person, having gone through what you've gone through? It didn't break me, it made me. Write that down. I'm out of here for the day. It didn't break me, it made me. I'm stronger for it. Wow. What a perspective. Have a great day, guys. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Remember, guys, greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. We can do all things through Christ. You just got to find the principles, apply the principles, and don't release those principles when you feel weary in well-doing. For if you faint not, you will reap a harvest in due season. God bless you. Bye-bye.